There are moments in life when you feel completely trapped, moments when every door seems closed, every prayer feels unanswered, and every day feels heavier than the last. Maybe you have cried silently at night while pretending to be strong during the day. Maybe you have smiled in front of people while your heart was breaking inside. You have been carrying pain that nobody truly understands. The pressure, the disappointment, the loneliness, the fear of not knowing what comes next. It has exhausted your soul. But this message found you for a reason. This is not an accident. God wants you to hear this today. He is making a way for you even when you cannot see one. Right now, while you are worrying, while you are doubting, while you are wondering if your situation will ever change, heaven is already moving behind the scenes. God sees every tear you tried to hide. He heard every prayer you whispered when nobody else was around. He knows how many nights you stayed awake thinking about your future. He knows the battles you never talk about. And today He is saying, do not give up now, because I am about to do something greater than you imagined. The enemy wanted you to believe your story was over. The enemy wanted your pain to convince you that you were forgotten, abandoned, and defeated. But God is turning your storm into a testimony. What looked like a setback is about to become the beginning of your breakthrough. You may feel weak right now, but God has not left your side for even 1 second. Every delay had a purpose. Every closed door protected you from something you could not see. Every painful moment was shaping you into the person you are becoming. Sometimes God allows storms not to destroy you, but to reveal the strength He placed inside you. And even though you felt alone in the darkness, God was walking with you. There were moments when you almost quit. Moments when your heart said, I cannot handle this anymore. But somehow you kept going. Somehow you survived every difficult day. That strength did not come from you alone. God carried you through the moments that should have broken you. And now a new season is beginning. The suffering you endured will not be wasted. God is opening. He is preparing blessings you did not expect. The breakthrough you prayed for is closer than you think. Do not let temporary pain make you forget the power of God. One moment with God can change everything. One blessing from heaven can erase years of struggle. One answered prayer can completely transform your life. God is not limited by your circumstances. He is bigger than your fear, bigger than your mistakes, bigger than your past, and bigger than the impossible situation standing in front of you today. Even now, while you listen to these words, God is restoring your strength. He is healing parts of you that pain tried to destroy. He is rebuilding your hope. The tears you cried in private are not forgotten in heaven. God collected every single one, and He promises that joy will come again. The sadness you feel today will not last forever. Your story is not ending in defeat. Your story is changing. Sometimes God waits until the situation looks impossible so that when the miracle happens, nobody can deny that it was Him. Think about everything you survived already. The battles you thought would destroy you did not win. The darkness that surrounded you could not stop God's purpose for your life. And the same God who protected you yesterday will provide for you tomorrow. You may not understand everything now, but one day you will look back and realize that God was guiding every step. Every delay, every heartbreak, every disappointment was leading you towards something greater. Right now you might feel tired of waiting. You might feel frustrated because nothing seems to be changing. But God says, be patient. I am working on things you cannot see. Miracles often begin quietly before they become visible. Seeds grow underground before anyone sees the flower. In the same way, your breakthrough is already growing, even if you cannot see it yet. God is preparing the right people, the right opportunities, the right timing, and the right blessings for your life. The enemy cannot stop what God has already planned for you. Fear cannot stop it. Doubt cannot stop it. Your past cannot stop it. What God promised will come to pass. This is why you must keep believing even when life feels uncertain. Faith means believing that God is still good even when life is difficult. And today God wants you to trust Him again. He wants you to stop carrying the weight alone. Give Him your fear. Give Him your pain. Give Him the anxiety that keeps you awake at night. God never asked you to handle everything by yourself. He asked you to trust Him, and when you place your situation in God's hands, impossible things become. You are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. The storm is not proof that God abandoned you. Sometimes the storm is proof that transformation has begun. Gold is refined in fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure. And God has been using every difficult moment to shape your future. Do not let this season make you bitter. Let it make you stronger. The pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you. God is building a testimony through your struggle that will inspire other people one day. One day you will tell your story and others will realize that if God brought you through your darkest moment, He can bring them through theirs too. So lift your head again, hope again, pray again, believe again. Your current situation is not permanent. The dark morning is coming, healing is coming, peace is coming, restoration is coming. God is about to make a way where there seems to be no way. The door that has been closed for so long is about to open. The burden you carried for years is about to become lighter. God is renewing your spirit right now. He is breathing life back into your heart. And this next chapter of your life will look completely different from the last one. People who doubted you will witness your growth. The same person who cried in silence will soon smile with joy again. God is still writing your story, and the ending will be more beautiful than you imagined. So do not quit now. Do not lose hope now. Your breakthrough is closer than ever before. God is making a way for you, and nothing can stop what He is about to do in your life. There are wounds that nobody can see, pain hidden behind smiles, silent tears falling late at night. Moments when you wanted someone to notice your struggle, but nobody truly understood what was happening inside your heart. You carried burdens quietly because you thought nobody would care, or maybe you felt afraid that people would judge you if they knew how broken you really felt. But God saw every tear you hid, every tear that fell when you were alone in your room, every moment your heart felt heavy, every time you whispered, "God, please help me," even when your faith felt weak. Heaven heard every cry you thought was ignored. You may feel forgotten by people, overlooked, rejected, or abandoned, but God has never stopped watching over you from the very beginning. He knew the battles you would face. He knew the heartbreaks that would try to destroy your spirit. He knew there would be days when you questioned your purpose and nights when fear tried to convince you that your future would never change. But God sent this message today to remind you that your tears were never wasted. Every painful moment carried meaning, and every struggle is becoming part of a greater story that God is writing for your life. Sometimes pain changes a person. It makes you quieter. It makes you tired. It makes you wonder why life feels unfair while everyone else seems happy. You tried to stay strong for so long that eventually nobody realized how much you were hurting inside. People saw your smile but not the battle in your mind. They saw your strength but not the pressure crushing your soul. But God saw it all. He saw the nights when anxiety kept you awake. He saw the disappointment after unanswered prayers. He saw the moments you almost gave up. And He wants you to know something important today. You survived because His hand was still on your life. Even when you felt weak, God carried you through every storm. The enemy wanted your pain to destroy your faith. The enemy wanted you to believe that your story would always be filled with disappointment and struggle. But God is about to turn your tears into testimony. The same pain that nearly broke you will become proof that God can restore what life tried to destroy. Right now, you may not see the full picture. You may not understand why certain things happened. You may still be asking God why He allowed certain heartbreaks, betrayals, delays, and failures into your life. But one day, you will look back and realize that God was protecting you even in moments that felt painful. Sometimes God removes people because they were not meant to stay in your future. Sometimes He closes doors because He has a better path prepared. Sometimes He allows storms because storms reveal the strength and faith hidden inside you. What you thought was punishment was actually preparation. What looked like rejection was redirection. And what felt like silence from heaven was actually God working behind the scenes in ways you could not yet understand. God says your season of crying will not last forever. The heaviness you carry today will not define the rest of your life. Joy is coming back. Peace is coming back. Strength is coming back. You may feel exhausted from fighting battles nobody knows about, but heaven is fighting for you right now. God is restoring the parts of your heart that pain damaged. He is healing your mind from fear and anxiety. He is rebuilding your confidence after disappointment tried to destroy it. The tears you cried in secret touched the heart of God. He never ignored your pain. Every prayer reached heaven, even when answers seemed delayed. And sometimes God delays blessings not because He forgot you, but because He is preparing something greater than what you originally asked for. Think about how many times you survived situations you thought would destroy you. There were days you felt emotionally exhausted, mentally drained, and spiritually empty, yet somehow you kept moving forward. That was not an accident. God gave you strength when you had none left. He protected you from dangers you never even saw. He comforted you during moments when nobody else was there, and now He is leading you into a new chapter. A chapter where healing replaces pain, a chapter where peace replaces fear, a chapter where your silent tears become a testimony of God's faithfulness. Do not believe the lie that your life will always stay this way. Your current struggle is temporary. The storm is not permanent. God specializes in impossible situations. He brings light into darkness. He restores broken hearts. He creates miracles out of hopeless situations. And He is not finished with your story. The enemy tried to convince you that your best days were behind you, but God says your greatest testimony is still ahead. You may have lost things, but God can restore more than you lost. You may have experienced heartbreak, but God can heal deeper than the pain. You may feel weak today, but God can give you strength that surprises even you. This is why you must keep believing even when life feels uncertain. Faith is not pretending pain does not exist. Faith is trusting God even while tears fall from your eyes. Faith is believing that God is still working even when nothing around you seems to change. And today, God wants you to trust Him. Trust that He knows your future. Trust that He sees your pain. Trust that your tears are not meaningless. Every tear carried a prayer. Every painful night carried purpose. Every battle shaped you into someone stronger than before. God never wastes pain. He uses it to prepare people for greater things. The same tears you cried in weakness are becoming seeds for future blessings. One day you will realize that the season that almost broke you actually built the strongest version of you. So do not lose hope now. Do not stop praying now. Do not let temporary pain convince you that your future is hopeless. God is closer than you think. Even in silence He is working. Even in darkness He is guiding you. Even in pain He is healing you. The breakthrough you prayed for is already moving. The miracle you thought would never happen is still possible. And one day soon you will wake up and realize that the storm that once terrified you has passed, and the light of God's favor is shining over your life again. The tears will stop. The sadness will not last forever. God heard every prayer, saw every hidden tear, and He is about to remind you that He never abandoned you for even 1 second. There comes a moment in life when everything feels like it is falling apart at the same time. The pressure becomes unbearable, the waiting becomes exhausting, and the silence feels heavier than words. You prayed for change, you hoped for answers, and you kept believing even while fighting battles nobody knew about. But after so many disappointments, delays, and painful nights, part of you started wondering if things would ever truly get better. You smiled in front of people while carrying storms inside your heart. You acted strong while secretly feeling tired, confused, and emotionally drained. Yet despite all the pain, despite all the moments you wanted to quit, you are still here listening to this message today for a reason. God wants you to hear this clearly. This is your turnaround moment. What looked impossible is about to change. The chapter filled with pain, fear, confusion, and disappointment is not the end of your story. Heaven is preparing a sudden shift in your life. Right now you may only see darkness around you, but God already sees the breakthrough ahead. He sees the healed version of you, the stronger version of you, the peaceful version of you that will rise from this storm. The enemy tried to convince you that your situation would never improve. Fear whispered that you would always struggle. Doubt told you that your prayers were being ignored. But God says the waiting season is producing something greater than you understand. Every painful moment carried purpose. Every delay was protecting you from something you could not see. Every closed door was leading you toward a better one. Sometimes God allows things to fall apart because He is preparing something stronger to be built in its place. Sometimes the breakdown becomes the beginning of the breakthrough. And even though you cried, even though you felt lost, even though there were nights when your heart felt completely empty, God never stopped working behind the scenes. While you were worrying, heaven was moving. While you were doubting, God was arranging things in your favor. While you were crying, miracles were already being prepared for your future. This is why you cannot quit now. You are too close to the breakthrough to give up. The pain almost convinced you that your story was over. But God says your greatest chapter has not even started yet. Think about everything you survived already. There were moments you thought would destroy you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Yet somehow you kept going. That strength did not come from yourself alone. God carried you through every difficult season, even when you did not realize it. He protected you from things you never saw. He gave you strength on days when you had nothing left, and now He is leading you into a season of restoration. The suffering you endured was not meaningless. The tears were not wasted. God is about to use your pain to create a testimony powerful enough to inspire others who feel hopeless. One day, people will look at your life and realize that only God could have brought you through everything you survived. Right now, you may still feel tired of waiting. You may still wonder why things have taken so long to change, but God's timing is different from human timing. He does not work according to your schedule. He works according to a greater plan, and when the right moment arrives, one opportunity, one blessing, one answered prayer, one breakthrough from heaven can completely transform your entire life. Do not let temporary pain make you lose eternal hope. The enemy attacks hardest when breakthrough is near. That is why the pressure became so intense. That is why fear tried to enter your mind. That is why discouragement surrounded your spirit. The enemy knew something you did not know. Your turnaround moment was approaching. But what God has planned for you cannot be stopped by fear, people, failure, or your past mistakes. God is bigger than every obstacle standing in front of you today. He is opening doors no one can shut. He is removing burdens you were never meant to carry forever. He is restoring peace to your mind and strength to your soul. Even now, while you listen, heaven is working in your favor. The storm that looked permanent is beginning to break. The darkness that surrounded your life will not last forever. Morning is coming, joy is coming, healing is coming, restoration is coming. You may not see the full picture yet, but God sees every detail of your future. He knows where your blessing is. He knows when your breakthrough will arrive. He knows the people who will enter your life and the doors that will open at the perfect time. Nothing about your life is random. Every step, every delay, every lesson, and every painful experience is being used by God for a greater purpose. Sometimes God allows waiting because waiting builds faith. Sometimes He allows storm, and even though the journey has been painful, you are becoming stronger than you realize. You are not the same person you were before this struggle started. Pain changed you, but it also prepared you. It taught you how to pray deeper, trust harder, and depend on God more than ever before. The version of you that comes out of this season will carry wisdom, strength, and faith that could only be developed through struggle. So do not lose hope now. This is not the season to surrender. This is the season to believe again. Believe that God is still working. Believe that your breakthrough is closer than ever before. Believe that your story can still change. God has not forgotten you. He has not ignored your prayers. The silence was never proof that He left you. Sometimes God works quietly before He reveals something powerful. Seeds grow underground before flowers appear above the surface. In the same way, your miracle has been growing in places you cannot yet see, and soon the evidence of God's favor will become visible in your life. The same people who watched you struggle will witness your restoration. The same heart that cried in secret will laugh with joy again. The same person who felt broken will become stronger than ever before. God is rewriting your story right now. Your pain will not have the final word. Fear will not have the final word. Failure will not have the final word. God will have the final word over your life, and His plans for you are greater than the darkness you faced. So hold on a little longer. Pray one more time. Believe one more time. Your turnaround moment is closer than you think, and the breakthrough God is preparing will be worth every tear, every prayer, and every painful season you survive. There are battles in life that leave you feeling completely exhausted. Battles so heavy that even explaining them to someone feels impossible. You wake up every day trying to stay strong, trying to smile, trying to keep moving forward. But inside your heart feels tired from carrying so much pain for so long. Maybe people around you think you are fine because you learned how to hide your struggles behind silence. Maybe nobody realizes how many nights you stayed awake worrying about your future, your family, your finances, your health, or the problems that seemed too big for you to solve alone. There were moments when fear surrounded your mind so strongly that you wondered if things would ever change. You prayed, waited, cried, and hoped, but sometimes the silence felt endless. Yet, despite everything you faced, despite every painful season, you are still standing today because God has been fighting this battle for you even when you could not see it. This message found you because heaven wants to remind you that you are not alone. God never abandoned you during your darkest moments. He saw every tear, heard every prayer, and stayed beside you even when you felt forgotten by everyone else. The enemy wanted you to believe that you had to carry every burden by yourself. Fear told you that you were trapped. Anxiety whispered that your future would never improve. But God says the battle is not yours alone anymore. He is stepping into your situation. He is making a way where there seems to be no way. Right now, you may only see problems, delays, disappointments, and closed doors. But God already sees victory on the other side of this storm. Sometimes, when life becomes difficult, it feels like God is silent. It feels like heaven is far away while your struggles become heavier every day. But silence does not mean absence. God often works behind the scenes before miracles become visible. While you were crying, God was protecting you from things you never saw. While you were worrying, heaven was arranging details in your favor. While you felt weak, God was giving you strength to survive another day. There were moments you almost gave up completely. Moments when your heart said, "I cannot do this anymore," yet somehow you kept moving forward. Somehow you survived every painful season that should have destroyed you. That was not an accident. God carried you through the battles that were too heavy for you to fight alone. And now He is saying to you today, stop carrying the weight by yourself. Give it to me. God never intended for you to live trapped in constant fear and exhaustion. He wants to restore your peace. He wants to heal the emotional wounds that nobody else can see. He wants to remind you that the storm does not have the final word over your life. The enemy attacked your mind because he knew your future carried purpose. He tried to break your confidence because he knew God was preparing something greater ahead. He wanted you distracted by pain so you would stop believing in the promises God placed inside your heart. But what God has planned for you cannot be destroyed by fear, failure, or people who walked away from your life. God is stronger than every obstacle standing against you today. He is bigger than the impossible situation you are facing. Even now, while you listen to these words, heaven is moving in ways you cannot yet understand. Doors are opening that you never expected. Opportunities are being prepared. Blessings are being arranged. The breakthrough you thought was delayed forever is closer than you realize. Sometimes God waits until the situation looks impossible, so that when the miracle finally happens, think about everything you survived already. The heartbreaks that nearly destroyed you, the disappointments that stole your peace, the nights filled with tears and fear. Yet you are still here. You survived because God refused to let the enemy win over your life. Every painful season carried purpose, even when you did not understand it. God used your struggles to make you stronger, wiser, and more dependent on Him. Pain changed you, but it also prepared you. It taught you how to trust God when life felt uncertain. It taught you how to keep praying even when answers seemed delayed. And one day you will look back and realize that the battle you thought was destroying you was actually building the strongest version of you. Right now you may feel tired of fighting. You may feel emotionally drained from carrying burdens. Nobody understands. But God says this season will not last forever. The storm is temporary. The pain is temporary. The waiting is temporary. Joy is coming back into your life. Peace is returning to your heart. Healing is restoring the broken places inside you. God is about to lift burdens you carried for years. The same person who cried silently will soon smile again. The same heart that felt broken will feel hope again. The same mind that was filled with fear will experience peace again. Do not let temporary darkness convince you that your future is hopeless. God specializes in impossible situations. He parts seas, restores broken people, heals wounded hearts, and creates miracles in moments when everything looks lost. Your story is not ending in defeat. God is rewriting your future right now. Even if people left you, God stayed. Even if doors closed, God protected you. Even if life became painful, heaven never stopped fighting for you. This is why you cannot quit now. You are closer to breakthrough than you think. The enemy attacks hardest when blessing is near. Fear increased because the miracle is approaching. Pressure became heavier because the turnaround moment is closer than ever before. But God says no weapon formed against you will succeed. What He has planned for your life cannot be stolen. The blessing with your name on it will arrive at the right time. The peace you prayed for will return. The answers you waited for will come. God is already working in your favor, even when you cannot see immediate evidence around you. Faith means trusting God before the miracle becomes visible. Faith means believing that heaven is moving even during silence. And today, God wants you to believe again. Believe that your future can still change. Believe that restoration is coming. Believe that you are not abandoned and never were. God has been beside you through every storm, every battle, every painful night, and every tear that fell in secret. And now a new season is beginning. A season where fear loses its power over you. A season where peace replaces anxiety. A season where your testimony becomes proof that God can bring light into the darkest situation. One day you will tell your story and realize that every battle was preparing you for the blessing God had planned all along. So hold on a little longer, pray one more time, trust God one more time. Your breakthrough is closer than ever before. And the God who fought for you in silence is about to reveal His power in ways you never imagined possible. There are seasons in life when the pain becomes so deep that you stop talking about it completely. You smile around people, you pretend everything is okay, but inside you feel emotionally exhausted from carrying burdens. Nobody truly understands. You wake up every day hoping something will finally change, hoping the heaviness in your heart will disappear, hoping the struggle will end. But after so many disappointments, delays, heartbreaks, and sleepless nights, it becomes difficult to keep believing. Maybe you feel tired of fighting battles that never seem to end. Maybe you feel trapped in a situation that keeps draining your spirit. Maybe fear, anxiety, loneliness, or disappointment has followed you for so long that you started wondering if happiness would ever return again. But God wants you to hear this message today very clearly. Your suffering is about to end. The season of endless pain, silent tears, and emotional exhaustion will not last forever. Heaven has seen everything you survived. God watched every tear fall from your eyes when nobody else was there to comfort you. He heard every prayer whispered late at night. He knows the battles hidden inside your mind, the fears you never tell people about, and the weight you have been carrying for far too long. And today God is saying, hold on a little longer because a new life is coming. Right now you may feel surrounded by darkness, but darkness never lasts forever. Morning always comes after the longest night. The enemy wanted your pain to convince you that your story was over. Fear tried to make you believe that your future would always look broken. Disappointment tried to steal your hope, but God is preparing a turnaround that will change everything. What looks impossible to you is still possible for heaven. Sometimes God allows difficult seasons not to destroy you, but to prepare you for the future He already planned. Pain has a way of changing people. It teaches lessons comfort never could. It forces you to depend on God in ways you never imagined before. And even though the struggle hurt deeply, it was also shaping your faith, your strength, and your purpose. You are not the same person you were before the storm began. You became stronger, wiser, and more aware of how much you truly need God. There were moments when you felt emotionally empty and spiritually tired. Moments when you questioned if your prayers were reaching heaven at all. Yet somehow you kept moving forward. Somehow you survived every painful season that should have broken you completely. That strength did not come from yourself alone. God carried you through the darkness even when you could not feel His presence. While you were crying, heaven was still working. While you were waiting, God was arranging things in your favor. While you felt forgotten, heaven was preparing your restoration. This is why you cannot lose hope now. You are too close to the breakthrough to quit. The suffering you endured was not meaningless. Every painful experience carried purpose. Every delay was protecting you from something you could not see. Every closed door was redirecting you towards something better. Sometimes God removes people because they cannot go where He is taking you next. Sometimes He allows storms because storms reveal the strength hidden inside you. And sometimes God waits until the situation feels impossible, so that when the miracle finally arrives, No, right now, your heart may still feel tired from everything you experienced. The memories still hurt. The disappointments still feel heavy. But healing is already beginning inside you. God is restoring the parts of your soul that pain tried to destroy. He is rebuilding your peace little by little. He is removing fear from your mind and replacing it with hope again. The sadness that followed you for so long will not control your future forever. Joy is returning, peace is returning, strength is returning. Your suffering is ending and a new chapter is beginning. God is opening doors that no person can shut. He is preparing blessings greater than the pain you survived. The breakthrough you prayed for is moving closer every day, even if you cannot yet see it. Faith means trusting God before the miracle becomes visible. Faith means believing heaven is still working even during silence. And today, God wants you to trust Him again. Trust that your tears were not wasted. Trust that your waiting carried purpose. Trust that your future is still filled with hope. The enemy attacked your mind because he feared the purpose God placed inside you. He wanted you to quit before your breakthrough arrived. He wanted you trapped in fear, discouragement, and hopelessness. But what God has planned for your life cannot be destroyed by temporary suffering. No storm lasts forever. No darkness remains forever. God always brings light at the right time. Think about everything you survived already. The heartbreaks, betrayals, fears, losses, and disappointments that almost destroyed you did not succeed. You are still here because God refused to let your story end in defeat. Every painful season was building a testimony that will inspire other people one day. One day you will tell your story and realize that God used every tear to create strength inside you. The same person who cried silently at night will soon smile with joy again. The same heart that felt broken will experience peace again. The same life that felt hopeless will become proof that God still performs miracles. Do not let temporary pain make you forget the promises of God. Your current situation is not permanent. Your struggle is not your final destination. God is already preparing something greater ahead. The season ahead of you will not look like the season behind you. New opportunities are coming. New peace is coming. New strength is coming. New blessings are coming. God is breathing life back into the dreams that pain tried to kill. He is reminding you that your future is still filled with purpose. Even now, while you listen to this message, heaven is moving in your favor. Things are changing that you cannot yet see. Doors are opening quietly. Healing is happening slowly, and soon the breakthrough will become visible in your life. One moment with God can change everything. One answered prayer can erase years of pain. One blessing from heaven can completely transform your future. This is why you must hold on a little longer. Keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting God even when life feels uncertain. Your suffering is about to end. A new life is coming. The darkness is breaking. The storm is passing. And the God who carried you through every painful season is about to reveal blessings greater than you ever imagined possible. There are moments in life when you begin to wonder if anyone truly remembers you. After so many disappointments, unanswered prayers, delays, and painful nights, it becomes easy to believe the lie that you have been forgotten. Maybe people walked away when you needed them most. Maybe you gave your heart to others, only to experience betrayal, rejection, or silence in return. Maybe you prayed for change again and again, but nothing around you seemed to improve. And slowly, without realizing it, you started carrying a deep sadness inside your heart. You kept fighting silently while pretending to be strong for everyone around you. You smiled during the day but cried quietly at night. You tried to keep believing, but pain kept whispering that your story would never change. Yet today, God wants you to hear something clearly. He has not forgotten you, not for 1 second. Every tear you cried, every sleepless night, every moment of fear, every silent prayer, heaven heard it all. Even when nobody else noticed your struggle, God saw everything. He was with you in every painful moment. Even when you could not feel His presence, the enemy wanted your pain to convince you that you were abandoned. But the truth is, God has been protecting you the entire time. Sometimes God works quietly behind the scenes while you are waiting for visible answers. While you were crying, heaven was already moving. While you felt stuck, God was arranging details in your favor. While fear surrounded your mind, God was preparing a breakthrough you could not yet see. Just because the answer has not arrived yet does not mean God ignored your prayer. Delays are not denial. Sometimes God waits because the blessing He has prepared is bigger than what you expected. There are seasons when heaven seems silent. But silence does not mean absence. A seed grows underground long before anyone sees the flower above the surface. In the same way, your miracle has been growing in hidden places. God knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and exactly how to bring it into your life at the perfect moment. Right now, you may feel emotionally exhausted. You may feel tired of carrying burdens. Nobody understands the pressure of life may feel heavy, but God says you were never meant to carry everything alone. Give Him your fears. Give Him your anxiety. Give Him the pain you keep hiding from the world. God cares deeply about every detail of your life. He sees the wounds nobody else can see. He understands the heartbreak you never fully explain to anyone, and He is already working to restore the broken places inside you. That is why fear became stronger. That is why discouragement tried to enter your mind. That is why you suddenly felt overwhelmed and hopeless. The enemy knew something you did not know. Your miracle is closer than you think. God is preparing to open doors no person can shut. He is about to change situations that looked impossible. He is restoring peace to your heart and strength to your... The season you are in right now is not permanent. Pain does not last forever. Storms eventually pass. Darkness eventually breaks. And God always brings light at the right time. Think about everything you survived already. There were moments you thought would completely destroy you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Yet somehow you kept moving forward. Somehow you found strength to continue. That strength came from God. He carried you through every battle you thought you could not survive. He protected you from things you never even saw. He stayed beside you when everyone else walked away, and now He is leading you into a new season. A season where healing replaces pain. A season where peace replaces fear. A season where hope returns to your heart again. God has not forgotten the dreams you gave up on. He has not forgotten the promises you prayed over. He has not forgotten the future He planned for you before your struggles even began. Your current situation may look hopeless, but heaven still has the final word over your life. Fear does not decide your future. Failure does not decide your future. Your past mistakes do not decide your future. God decides your future. God decides your future. Sometimes we ask God for immediate answers, but God cares more about preparing us for the blessing than simply giving it quickly. Pain changes people. It teaches lessons that comfort never could. The difficult season you survived built strength inside you that could not have developed any other way. You learned how to trust God deeper. You learned how to pray harder. You learned how to survive storms that once would have destroyed. And one day you will realize that the struggle you hated was also preparing you for the purpose God has ahead. So do not lose hope now. Do not stop praying now. Do not believe the lie that your story is over. God is still writing your story, and the next chapter will look different from the last one. The same person who cried silently will laugh again. The same heart that felt broken will heal again. The same life that felt stuck will move forward again. God is opening new doors, creating new opportunities, and bringing new peace into your life. Even now, while you listen to these words, heaven is moving in your favor. The breakthrough you prayed for is already closer than you realize. Hold on a little longer. Trust God one more time, believe again, because the God who never forgot you is about to remind you that He was working all along, even during the moments when you felt completely alone. There are times in life when waiting becomes more painful than the struggle itself. You prayed, hoped, believed, and trusted for so long that eventually exhaustion started taking over your heart. You kept asking God for answers, for change, for healing, for breakthrough. But day after day, things seemed to remain the same. The doors stayed closed, the silence continued, and slowly you began wondering if your prayers were reaching heaven at all. Maybe you are in that place right now, a place where your faith feels tired, a place where your heart feels worn down from carrying pain nobody fully understands. You tried to stay strong for everyone else while silently fighting battles inside your own mind. Fear whispered that nothing would ever change. Disappointment told you to stop expecting miracles. The enemy wanted you to believe that you were stuck forever. But God sent this message to remind you of something powerful today. The wait is over. God is opening doors that no person can shut. The season of delay is coming to an end, and a new chapter is beginning in your life. What you thought was impossible is about to shift in ways you never expected. Heaven has not. God heard every word you cried out in secret. He saw every tear that fell from your eyes during nights when nobody else knew how broken you felt. Even when life looked silent, heaven was still moving behind the scenes. While you were waiting, God was preparing opportunities. While you were hurting, He was arranging blessings. While you were confused, heaven was positioning the right people, the right timing, and the right breakthroughs for your future. Sometimes, God delays things because He is protecting you from receiving the wrong thing too early. Sometimes closed doors are actually signs of divine protection. And sometimes God allows waiting seasons because waiting builds strength, faith, and dependence on Him. But there comes a moment when heaven says, "Now is the time." And for many of you listening today, that moment is closer than you realize. The enemy attacked your mind because he knew your breakthrough was near. That is why fear became stronger. That is why discouragement tried to enter your spirit. That is why you suddenly felt emotionally exhausted and hopeless. The enemy always fights hardest when blessing is approaching, but what God has planned for your life cannot be stopped by fear, people, delays, or past mistakes. No closed door can block the path God already prepared for you. If God decides to bless you, nothing on earth can prevent it. Right now you may only see problems around you: bills, pressure, heartbreak, rejection, disappointment, anxiety, loneliness. Maybe these things have become so overwhelming that you feel trapped. But God sees beyond your current pain. He sees the future waiting ahead. He sees the healed version of you, the peaceful version of you, the stronger version of you that will rise after this storm finally passes. Sometimes we focus so much on what we lost that we forget God still has power to restore. You may have lost opportunities, relationships, peace, confidence, or hope, but God can restore more than what life took from you. One touch from heaven can change everything. One answered prayer can erase years of struggle. One breakthrough from God can completely redirect your future. Think about how many battles you already survived. There were moments you thought would destroy you emotionally and mentally, yet somehow you kept going. That strength came from God. He carried you through storms that should have broken you completely. He protected you during moments when you did not even realize danger was near. And now He is leading you into a season of restoration, a season where doors begin opening unexpectedly, a season where opportunities arrive you never imagined possible, a season where peace starts replacing fear. Again, God says the waiting was not wasted. Every painful delay carried purpose. Every closed door redirected you towards something better. Every disappointment was preparing you for the blessing that fits your future more perfectly. Sometimes we beg God to open doors that would actually hurt us later. But because He sees the full picture, He closes certain paths to protect us. And later we realize His no was actually mercy in disguise. Right now you may not understand why certain things happened the way they did. But one day you will look back and see God's hand guiding you through every step. Faith means trusting God before the miracle becomes visible. Faith means believing heaven is still working even when life feels silent. And today God wants you to believe again. Believe that your story can still change. Believe that healing is still possible. Believe that joy can return. Believe that the breakthrough you waited for is finally coming closer. Do not let temporary pain convince you that your future is hopeless. The storm is temporary. The darkness is temporary. The waiting is temporary. God always moves at the perfect time. And when He opens a door, no person, no fear, no obstacle, and no past failure can shut it again. Some doors will lead to healing. Some doors will lead to opportunities. Some doors will lead to peace. Some doors will lead to the purpose God planned for you long ago. But all of them will remind you that heaven never abandoned you. Even during silence, God was still writing your story. Even during tears, He was preparing restoration. Even during heartbreak, He was protecting your future. You are standing too close to your breakthrough to surrender. The same person who cried in silence will soon celebrate openly. The same heart that carried pain will soon carry peace again. The same life that felt stuck will begin moving forward in ways you never imagined. God is opening doors right now, doors of healing, doors of restoration, doors of peace, doors of blessing, and doors of purpose. So keep praying, keep believing. Keep trusting God even when life feels uncertain, because the wait is ending, the breakthrough is coming, and the God who carried you through every painful season is about to lead you into something far greater than you expected. There are moments in life when everything around you feels uncertain. The pressure keeps increasing, the battles keep coming, and your heart becomes tired from carrying pain for so long. You try to stay strong, but deep inside you wonder how much longer you can keep fighting. Maybe you have been dealing with fear, anxiety, heartbreak, disappointment, or loneliness for so long that peace feels impossible to imagine. Maybe every day feels like a struggle, just to keep hope alive. And after so many painful seasons, part of you started believing that nothing would ever truly change. But God sent this message to remind you of something powerful today. He is changing everything tonight. The darkness that surrounded your life will not last forever. The storm that tried to break your spirit is coming to an end. Heaven is preparing a shift in your life that you cannot yet fully see, but it is already beginning. Even now, while you are listening to these words, God is moving behind the scenes in ways greater than your imagination. While you were crying, heaven was still working. While you were worrying, God was already preparing answers. While fear tried to convince you that your future was hopeless, God was arranging blessings, opportunities, healing, and restoration for your life. The enemy wanted you trapped in discouragement and hopelessness. He wanted you to believe that your prayers were ignored and your story was over. But God says this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of a new season. A season where peace replaces fear. A season where healing replaces pain. A season where joy returns after so much sadness. You may not understand everything you went through, but nothing was wasted. Every painful night carried purpose. Every disappointment taught you something. Every delay prepared you for the blessing that is coming next. Sometimes God allows storms because storms reveal strength that comfort never could. Sometimes He allows difficult seasons because pain pushes us closer to Him than success ever does. And even though the struggle nearly broke you, it also built a stronger version of you. You learned how to keep praying when life felt silent. You learned how to survive moments that should have destroyed you emotionally. You learned how to trust God, even when you could not see the full picture. And now heaven is about to reward your faithfulness. Right now you may feel emotionally exhausted. You may feel tired of fighting battles nobody understands. But God says you do not have to carry the burden alone anymore. He is stepping into your situation. He is bringing peace into the chaos. He is restoring the broken pieces inside your heart. The tears you cried in private were never ignored. Heaven saw every single one. God heard every silent prayer whispered through fear and pain. And He promises that joy will come again. The enemy attacks hardest when breakthrough is closest. That is why the pressure increased. That is why fear became louder. That is why discouragement surrounded your thoughts. The enemy knew something you could not yet see. Your miracle was approaching. But what God has planned for your life cannot be stopped by darkness, people, fear, or your past mistakes. God is greater than every obstacle standing in front of you today. One moment with God can change everything. One answered prayer can erase years of struggle. One breakthrough from heaven can completely transform your future. Think about everything you already survived. There were moments when you thought you would never recover emotionally. There were nights when your heart felt completely empty. Yet somehow you kept moving forward. That strength came from God. He carried you through the darkest moments when you had no strength left inside yourself. He protected you from things you never even saw. And now He is leading you into a season of restoration. A season where things finally begin. God is opening doors that fear told you would stay closed forever. He is creating opportunities you never expected. He is restoring peace to your mind and strength to your soul. The season ahead of you will not look like the season behind you. Your story is shifting. Your future is changing. The same life that felt stuck is about to move forward again. This is why you cannot quit now. The pain was not meant to destroy you forever. It was preparing you for the purpose God planned all along. Sometimes God waits until the situation looks impossible, so that when the miracle finally happens, nobody can deny that it was Him. Right now you may still feel uncertain. You may still wonder when things will fully change. But faith means trusting God before the miracle becomes visible. Faith means believing heaven is moving even when life feels silent. And tonight, God wants you to believe again. Believe that healing is possible. Believe that peace can return. Believe that your future is not ruined. Believe that God is still able to perform miracles in your life. The darkness you see today is temporary. The storm will not last forever. Morning is coming. Healing is coming. Restoration is coming. The same person who cried silently at night will soon smile with genuine peace again. The same heart that felt broken will become stronger than ever before. The same life that felt hopeless will become proof that God still changes impossible situations. Even now, while you hear these words, heaven is already moving in your favor. Doors are opening, chains are breaking. Fear is losing its power. God is breathing life back into your spirit. And this next chapter of your life will carry more peace, more strength, more purpose, and more blessing than the painful season you survived. So hold on a little longer, pray one more time, trust God again, because tonight, heaven is reminding you that your story is changing, your breakthrough is closer than ever before, and the God who never left your side is about to do something greater than you imagined possible. There are seasons in life when your heart feels completely empty, when the weight of disappointment becomes so heavy that even smiling feels difficult. You try to stay strong for everyone around you, but deep inside you feel tired from fighting battles nobody truly understands. Maybe you have been carrying fear, heartbreak, anxiety, or loneliness for so long that you started believing things would never change. Maybe you prayed again and again, asking God for help, but the silence made you wonder if heaven had forgotten about you. Yet God wants you to hear this clearly today. Your hard days are ending. The pain you have been carrying will not last forever. Joy is coming back into your life. Even during the moments when you felt abandoned, God never left your side. He saw every tear that fell late at night. He heard every silent prayer whispered through pain and exhaustion. The enemy wanted your struggles to convince you that your future was hopeless. But God says this is not the end of your story. A new season is beginning. A season where peace replaces fear, where healing replaces heartbreak, and where hope rises again inside your heart. Sometimes God allows difficult seasons because pain builds strength inside us that comfort never could. The storms you survived taught you how to trust God deeper. They taught you how to keep believing even when life felt uncertain. And although the journey hurt, it also prepared you for the blessings ahead. Think about everything you already survived. There were moments you thought would completely break you emotionally, yet somehow you kept moving forward. That strength came from God. He carried you through every storm, even when you could not feel His presence. While you were crying, heaven was still working behind the scenes. While you were waiting, God was arranging things in your favor. The enemy attacks hardest when breakthrough is near, which is why fear and discouragement became so strong. But what God has planned for your life cannot be stopped by darkness, people, or past mistakes. One touch from heaven can change everything. One answered prayer can completely transform your future. God is restoring your peace right now. He is healing the wounds nobody else can see. He is breathing strength back into the parts of you that pain tried to destroy. The same person who cried silently at night will soon smile again with genuine joy. The same heart that felt broken will feel peace again. Your current struggle is temporary. The storm will pass. Morning is coming. Better days are coming. Joy is coming back. So do not quit now. Do not stop praying now. Hold on a little longer and trust God one more time. Because the God who carried you through every painful season is about to remind you that your best chapter has not even begun yet. Sometimes life becomes so overwhelming that you start losing hope without even realizing it. The pain lasts longer than expected. The waiting feels endless, and the silence around your prayers becomes difficult to understand. You try to stay strong, but deep inside your heart feels tired from carrying so many hidden battles. Maybe you feel forgotten. Maybe you feel like nobody truly understands the pressure, fear, and sadness you have been dealing with. There were nights when you cried quietly, asking God if things would ever change. There were moments when you wanted to give up completely because the burden felt too heavy to carry anymore. But God sent this message to remind you of something important today. Do not lose hope now. Your story is not over. Heaven is still working on your behalf even when you cannot see immediate changes around you. God has seen He heard every prayer whispered through pain and fear. Even during the moments when life felt silent, He never left your side. The enemy wanted your struggles to convince you that your future was hopeless. But God says breakthrough is closer than you think. The storm you are facing today will not last forever. Pain is temporary. Fear is temporary. Waiting is temporary. God is preparing a new season for your life, a season filled with peace, healing, restoration, and strength. Sometimes God allows difficult seasons because those seasons shape us into stronger people. The struggle you survived built faith inside you that comfort never could. It taught you how to keep trusting God even when life felt uncertain. It taught you how to keep praying even during silence. And even though the journey hurt deeply, it was preparing you for the blessings ahead. Right now you may not fully understand why certain things happened, But one day you will look back and realize that God was guiding you through every painful moment. While you were crying, heaven was still moving. While you were waiting, God was arranging things in your favor. The enemy attacks hardest when breakthrough is near, which is why fear and discouragement tried to enter your mind. But what God has planned for your life cannot be stopped by darkness, failure, or past mistakes. God is greater than every obstacle standing in front of you today. One touch from heaven can change everything. One answered prayer can completely transform your future. Think about how many battles you already survived. There were moments you thought would destroy you emotionally, yet somehow you kept moving forward. That strength came from God. He carried you through every storm and protected you even when you could not see His hand working, and now He is leading you into a better season. So do not quit now. Do not stop believing now. Hold on a little longer, keep praying, keep trusting. Your breakthrough is closer than you realize, and the God who stayed with you through every painful season is about to remind you that hope was never lost because He was working all along.